a woman gets passionate, she's automatically angry.
Why? I'm not saying women. I'm just saying like
No,
Well,
but
I'm
in this
that's
not.
what you
specific
said.
When I'm
situation.
You said that
angry,
she's angry. She's not angry. I'm not angry. This is a
I'm not.
I didn't
I'm
say
conversation.
she
not
was. I
angry.
said it
I
seemed
am
like it.
passionate,
She's
Okay.
but
very
I'm not.
passionate.
You will know when I'm
Okay.
angry. It'll be very clear.
Okay.
Holy cow.
So yeah, I mean, just to basically explain what you're talking about. This is labor-based valuation and a simple answer. It's not talking about
God
woman's
should
labor.
not do that. A God should not do that.
Why?
A God, I just told you why. If he saw us all equal. Are you a father by any chance?
Oh, I
No,
hope not.
ma'am.
He's 19.
No.
Well, Rabbi, we cannot assume. I mean, some
Oh, all
people
right.
are a
You're right.
parent when
You're
they're
right.
14 or 15. I don't
I
know.
mean, I was
I'm not going to
16. You're
assume.
right. You're right. I was 16.
Okay, see. Anyway, when you have children, there are parents who clearly pick favorites, okay? And there are parents who don't, can't, and won't, okay? I happen to be one of those. Um, there is no way on earth I could value any one of my children above the other. And if
Right.
you asked me what their monetary value was, I seriously couldn't give you a monetary value in the first fucking place, which is what should have happened here. But if I had to, I would be like, you should pay them all the same. My kids
Mhm.
all bring something very amazing to the table. They are all talented, smart, and hard workers. And that is what a God of the universe should say if he's into me. But when he's not into me, he tells me you're worth less than men. And that's from
Okay.
him.
So
This is from God telling people that women are worth less than men. But there's more. In Genesis 46:26,
wait,
they
hold on. We can't.
count.
I want to stay on this. Hold on. I don't want to get
Okay.
into something else. Um. Okay. So you told me to give you a biblical scholar talking about this situation. You
Mm-hmm.
can go to his name is Gordon J. Wenham. He wrote things about the book of Leviticus, and he talks about the physical work capacity. He talks about all those things. Or Jacob Milgram, or
Oh,
Warren
I know Jacob
Wiersbe.
Milgram.
Right. So I mean that's a scholar that you can look into. Just like that's just one I wanted to tell you.
Yeah,
But I mean
I
we
know
can.
Jacob Milgram. I
Yeah,
don't know
Gordon J.
Wineham, but I know
Winham
Milgram.
is he is that is a biased source, sir. He
Oh,
is an apologist, okay? And so that is why I'm very picky by the sources. If these are Christian apologists, then they have a reason that they're going to tell you it's all cool, it's all sweet, God loves everybody. I want a non-biased scholar, somebody who's just looking at the text and goes, yeah, that's what God said, men are worth more than women, because that's what it says. And
okay.
it's not the only place. Men can sell their daughters into slavery.
Okay. I know what you're
And they
talking
never
about,
get to go
but
free. They never get to go free. Never.
right,
Women
right.
never get to go free.
I understand the frustration, but you're saying it's biased. But I mean, if we
It
read the
is.
Bible, if we read the Bible like just cherry, I mean, it kind of seems like you're just cherry picking this verse and not reading the entire context of
I
Leviticus.
just told you many other verses that back it up. And so how can I be cherry picking? I just told you there's more. And you
Right,
said, don't go to the more yet. I want to stay right here. So
right.
I'm not cherry picking if there's several verses that back up what I'm saying, that God does not
Have you
love
read the
women.
book of
That's
Leviticus?
not cherry picking.
She,
Yes, I have.
yes, she's read it.
Okay. So you've read the book of
I actually do
Leviticus.
a non-believers Bible study every Thursday, and so we've read the whole book of Leviticus together right here on this show.
Okay, okay, for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, that's just one I wanted to say about Leviticus. We can go to Genesis now,
Well,
if you want to.
Janice,
well,
go ahead, Rabbi. What did you want to say?
she brought up something that I find interesting is the slavery bit. You know, women are sold into slavery and never go out of slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas men can be redeemed out of slavery, a woman cannot. Once you sell your daughter into slavery or a woman is sold into slavery, she is a slave for life.
Okay.
And oftentimes she is a and I can't say that word here on TikTok, but she is a intimate slave.
Right, I know what
As
you mean.
and this happens when you see that as someone who is Israelite who sells themselves as an indentured servant. Now, I'm saying this different than an actual slave, because slave is from another nation. Indentured servitude is reserved only for Israelites. If a master gives a woman to an indentured servant as a wife, she has no choice in that. It's just, hey, I'm bringing you this woman. This is now going to be your wife. That is not, and in any way, shape, or form, that is not in any way helpful to a woman to be told, this is now your husband. You will cleave only unto him. You have no choice in it. When he leaves at the end of his 7 years, you don't get to go with him. Any children that you bear, anything that you do, you still stay with me because I am your master, and you don't get to leave. He can leave,
Right.
but you cannot.
Okay. Okay, so the reason why what you guys say is, well, okay, I'll address what you just said. Are you talking about the book of Exodus, or what book are you referring from? Or Leviticus?
This is Exodus.
Okay, Exodus. Okay, let me just try to explain this how I see it, or how I've gotten told.
I said, yes, please.
Okay, so the way you think about this is if this happened today, which is, I mean, that's not correct. You have to think about it back in those days. Think about it like it's like an example of, like, you give your child training wheels before you send them straight out onto just the bike, right? You can
What does that have
slowly
to do
build
with a woman being sold into slavery and never coming out?
Right. I'm getting there. So God's building them up into correct people, to a civilized people. He's building them up, and I've had people ask me, well, why doesn't he just make a commandment where that's wrong, just in general? Why doesn't he just say, no, don't do this, or I'm going to condemn you? Well, I don't know why he doesn't do that. I don't know why he decided to not make a straight commandment. But I know what God does is good, and again, you have to think back in thousands of years ago, into the world, the state of the world was. So I think that, yeah.
I do. I am a biblical scholar of the ancient Near East,
Right.
which is the time that this happens. This is my whole job. I'm a rabbi. I don't know if you know what a rabbi is, but I am one. Okay. So a rabbi is the equivalent of a pastor or a preacher or a reverend or a priest for Jewish people.
So you're a pastor?
Well, sort of, yes. I'm not Christian, I'm Jewish.
Oh.
So I'm a member of the clergy for the Jewish faith.
Okay.
Which means I had to go to school for a very long time to learn the entirety of these books in order for me to do the job. Prior to that, I went to school to learn about the ancient Near East and about the Hebrew text and about just the culture, because I was very interested in it prior to even becoming a rabbi.
Okay.
To say that, and I understand that we have to situate the text within the context of the ancient Near East. I absolutely understand that placing that when we place modern morality upon a people that did not have the same morality we do, it is not always the best look. I absolutely get that too. Right. However, in saying that, we do have scripture that says you cannot eat a pig.
Right. But that's the old covenant.
Says you cannot eat this. So is this. So is the slavery that I'm talking about. Is the Old Testament Exodus. Please let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So when I'm placing it in the context, I'm placing it in the context of also knowing that God says you can't eat pig, you can't shave your beard, you can't mix fabrics, but never once says, by the way, you cannot sell your wives or your daughters into slavery.
Okay.
And it never says, by the way, you cannot turn women into sex slaves, because that's what they were being turned into.
Susan.
Okay. So, irrespective of whatever you're going to say about Jesus, what I am referring to all happens within the Hebrew text.
Okay. Okay, so I understand what you're saying. Do you know what the Old Covenant and the New Covenant is?
I don't think
I'm going to breathe
do.
for a second. I'm going to breathe for a second.
All right, go ahead.
And
Go
I'm
ahead.
not talking about Jesus yet, David. I'm talking about Yahweh. I'm talking about who Jesus says is the Father, who is the God, okay? I am saying Yahweh is not that into you as a woman. And we are talking about him in the Old Testament. And we're not going to jump to the New Testament yet. Jesus isn't that into women either, by the way. But we're going to stay right here because you didn't want me to go to another verse yet. What we're going to do is talk about the fact that he is telling women throughout the Old Testament, I'm not into you. You can be a slave. Your father, the one who is supposed to be the most trusted person in your life, can sell you to somebody for sex.
Mm-hmm.
He can pimp you out and make money off of you. And if somebody harms you, he gets paid, not you. And you know what happens to you if you do get raped? You got to go marry your rapist. Because I care more about that man than I care about you.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. I mean, I get where you're coming from. But I mean, it's hard to explain because I'm not a scholar.
Maybe
I'm not.
stop explaining it and start thinking for a minute and say, I want to use my critical thinking skills. What is really more likely happening? An entire book that subjugates women is written by a God who loves everybody the way I keep telling myself he does? Or is it more likely that men wrote this so that they could subjugate women?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I don't understand. I mean, it's like hard to understand because you guys say that God only loves men and that he's misogynist, but Jesus doesn't teach that. He teaches that he loves the world.
We're
and he
not
loves
talking
all
about
people.
Jesus.
Well, Jesus is
I'm
God.
still, no, we're still staying with Yahweh. I already told you that. I'm not jumping to the New Testament yet.
Right.
And Jesus does not. He calls women bitches, basically. So let's
Where?
not go there yet. I'm not going there yet.
Okay.
I'm staying with Yahweh.
Well,
You have
Yahweh
not
what
proven
you're
and
to
Jesus
me
are the
talking
same
once.
I
person.
had to catch up. I was like, wait, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute,
listen.
what? Oh, that's right.
Listen to me. You haven't shown anywhere in the Old Testament yet that Yahweh values women, that he cares about us, that he loves us. And if you have to jump all the way to the New Testament to do it, you're showing me that the God who originated your religion does not love women.
Do you think, if I can ask you this question, David, and this is one that's really important to me just because it is something that has never sat right with me. Now, I'm staying within the Hebrew text. In the book of Deuteronomy 21, 10 through 14, it talks about what is known as a war bride. Do you know what a war bride is?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So a war bride is, God says, when you go to war, as the nation of Israel goes to war with another nation, and you beat them, and you conquer them, you are allowed to take the women of the other nation and forcefully make them your wives. That you are to take them to your home, shave their head, cut their nails, allow them to mourn for 1 month. They get to mourn the loss of their husbands or their parents, their families, and then you may go into them, which, by the way, in the Hebrew means you may have intimate relations with them and make them your wife against their will.
Okay.
So I think when Crystal is saying that God is not really looking out for women, this is one of the things that pops up, especially for me, is I read these passages and what I see is men are the victors and women are the treasure that they get to take as the spoils of war.
Okay. I understand what they're saying.
Hey, Tahir or Silly Goose, anybody who has both YouTube and TikTok, can somebody go check the YouTube sound for me and tell me if I fixed it? I'd really appreciate it. Leo, I bring up one op at a time, and if you think that calling me a Jane Fonda is somehow an insult to me, you're sadly mistaken. She's amazing.
Jane Fonda is the shit, man.
Right?
Okay, so
I asked Tahir if you could just check the sound on my YouTube channel and let me know if it's still echoing. I switched to Edge, and I want to know if that fixed it.
Also, it's 2026 and we're really out here still wearing our ball caps to the side like that. Like 1996 called and they want their they want their clothing back. Like, come on, Leo.
And Leo's sitting there admitting that it's misogynistic in the comments without even knowing. So women are used as a way to have leverage over the other country. Okay, we're not props, Pumpkin. We're humans. Why would you use us for anything?
hello?
Ridiculous.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, hello. Go ahead.
Okay, so you're saying that nowhere in the Old Testament does God show that he loves women. So I just want to show you this.
Wait, before you say it, I'm going to explain something to you. I have a very strict rule on this. If you show me one woman, you are not showing me women. Do you understand me? Just because God does something nice for one woman does not mean he loves women. Do you understand?
Okay, so if he establishes a new law to protect women's property rights, does that change your mind?
Oh, you're talking about what's his face's daughters.
Does that change your mind?
No.
No.
Why?
Because it doesn't protect me from not being sold as a slave. It doesn't protect me from anything other than he gave one set of women some property because there was no heirs.
Oh.
It doesn't save women from being raped and then married off to the person who did it.
Okay, so you're saying that
It
God...
won't save the concubine. It won't save the concubine who gets thrown out to be gang raped. It doesn't save her from being cut into 12 pieces.
Okay, so you're saying that what God says in the Old Testament about the slavery, you're saying that that can still apply today?
If we follow the Levitical law, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
right,
Yeah, but
Vessel?
slavery is still taking place right now in Arabian countries and in many places in Africa, and
In
this is still the
Congo.
case. Yes, we've got ladies that are going to work in Saudi Arabia, for example. They're being promised a certain wage. When they get there, their life changes to that of chattel slavery, basically, and they've got to offer smecks and sometimes some of their organs before they're set free.
Okay.
So it's still happening.
Okay. All right, let me tell you
If I
this.
may
Okay,
really
there's
fast.
three categories of law. The ceremonial law, the civil...
No. I'm gonna stop you right there. That is not a thing. And I'm sorry, David, but this is...
Wait, why
this
did you
is a
mute
thing
me?
I don't know.
I did that.
Don't mute him.
I
please.
did that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I
Don't
me.
mute
I'm
him.
not a mod. But let me say this: that
He's been good
ceremonial
so far.
and those things are imposed onto the Hebrew text in the 4th century CE. So do you know that that means way after the Old Testament was written, long after the New Testament was written, church fathers got together and decided to make these divisions of the Old Testament or of the Hebrew scripture, saying the laws are divided into these 3 categories. They do not exist. That is something that is made up by the church.
Okay.
They do not exist within the actual Hebrew text or the people who wrote the Hebrew text. As a Jewish person,
It never says it in
Hebrew
the
text.
scriptures at all.
So we still are part of the Hebrew text. As Jews, we do not have divisions that are ceremonial, civil, moral, none of that. That is, the law is the law. But what it has allowed to do is when you set up these boundaries, it allows Christianity to say, well, I want to adhere to these laws of the Old Testament, but these other laws that are distasteful, we'll say we don't have to anymore because they're part of a law system that doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Okay, I get what you're saying, but where Jesus applies to what we're talking about is Jesus came to fulfill this. Jesus came to explain it. He says, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." To
Right.
fulfill
He
means
didn't come to abolish them.
Right. He's to
Right.
fulfill. To fulfill means he met the requirement perfectly and completed the purpose of each law was given. By the fulfilling of the
Who
law,
told you
he
that?
moved the focus from external rule keeping to internal transformation of the heart.
Who told you that?
No.
ChatGPT.
He's reading it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I
right.
know. That's why I'm asking who told him. Where are you reading this
Well,
from?
this is coming from scholars that have wrote this. I could look up what scholar wrote this.
Jesus also said that heaven and earth would pass away before a tittle of the law would change. This means that the laws regarding slavery would remain the same. I
No,
wanted to
that's not what that
translate it.
means.
Well, here's
It is what
this
that
is this
means.
is easy to this is really easy to parse out. So when you are following the speed limit when you're driving, are you abolishing the law or are you fulfilling the law?
I get what you're saying. I mean, I've already came across it. Someone already asked me this. I get what you're saying.
So what's
but
the
this is a
answer?
stretch. This is a reach.
What's the answer?
I'm
Are
not
you
gonna
abolishing it or are you fulfilling
I'm not gonna answer this because there's no
Why not?
point. Because there's no point. This is irrelevant.
Why is it relevant?
It's
Why
not
is it irrelevant?
irrelevant. It's not irrelevant.
It is because you're trying to tell me what it means.
Do you know what the new covenant was?
What does
Do you
fulfill
know
mean?
what it says?
Do I know what the new covenant is?
It says that the law will be written on your heart, that not that it's done away with. The new covenant just meant that you would know, you would do the right thing, you would know. It doesn't say you get rid of it. You have to follow all of the laws. Jesus believed in following all of the laws.
Right. Okay,
Right,
so
and so he didn't abolish them.
Right.
And he didn't treat women better.
Okay, we'll get onto that after we get this.
No, because we're going to go back to the Old Testament because you keep trying to sneak Jesus in here. And I told you 27 times, we're not there yet.
No, I know what you're saying,
I want
but
to
she
get back
brought
to
up
Yahweh. Then get back to Yahweh.
she
You
brought
haven't
up
shown me anywhere. You haven't shown me anywhere in the Old Testament where God loves women.
Okay. Numbers 27. Let's go to there.
What about it?
Do you know what do you know what's going on right in this situation in Numbers?
Numbers 27 what?
Yeah.
Verse 1.
What about it?
Let me pull this up.
Oh yeah.
Did you not know what
we
it was
already told
before you
about
told
this.
us?
It's the daughters of I never can say this guy's name right. Damn my inability. Zelophehad.
Zelophehad. What about him?
Okay.
You
All right,
already
so
told
do
us.
you know-
I already told you this doesn't show me anything except that he did something right by these women. It does not show me that he has changed his view on all women. It does not save the concubine later who will be cut in 12 pieces and sent out to the tribes of Israel, sir. Do not keep going over the same verse with me and thinking that I'm going to suddenly tell you, oh, that makes it all better. Show me where he says, you better start treating women right. Stop raping them. Stop selling them. Stop making them slaves. Show me where he says that he loves me as much as he loves these men. Show me the protagonist, sir, that is a woman that does something that isn't involved around a man.
Okay. Okay, so I mean, do you know the context of what's going on in Numbers?
Are you seriously going to keep talking about this even though I just made it clear to you that this is not showing me that he loves women?
You said show me anywhere where God shows love to women.
No, I didn't. I said if it is about a one event, it does not change how he felt about women overall. Do you understand that? Do you understand that I can go do if I hate men, if I hate men, and then one day I see a hungry man on the street and I stop and feed him, that does not suddenly mean I love all men again. It means that I did something for that one man. I can still hate men. And according to the scriptures, he continues to hate women throughout the scriptures. I just told you why. Later, after this verse, a woman will be thrown to a mob and she will be raped. Her body left at the doorstep. We don't even know whether she's dead or alive at that time. And they cut her up into 12 pieces and sent her out to the tribes of Israel.
Okay.
You're not listening to these things.
Okay, I won't use Numbers.
He will have David's own son grape his wives on a rooftop in full view of everybody, and those women did nothing. He will allow David to rape Bathsheba, and then she will get pregnant with David's baby, and he will kill that baby when that baby is 7 days old, making it suffer for the entire 7 days. Bathsheba did nothing.
Okay. All right, fine. I mean, if you don't want numbers, then I won't use numbers. Let's go to Exodus 22, verse 22.
Are you listening to anything I'm saying? Or are you just trying to find
I'm
little
literally listening
stories
to
where...
what you're saying.
What did I just say?
You
What
were
did he
talking
do?
about, don't give me a situation where
What did
it's
he
only one
do? What are the
situation
exact examples that I gave you? What are the exact examples?
of David when he told his son to grape his wives.
And you have no answer for that.
No, I
You
mean, I
want to go to
haven't studied
Exodus
about that.
22. All right, let's go back to Exodus 22. Let's see how this...
That is all Exodus 22:22 says. You shall not abuse a widow or orphan.
Right. Do not take advantage of the widow or the fatherless. If you do, then they cry out to me, I will certainly hear their cry. My anger will be aroused, and I will kill you with the sword. Your wives will become widows, and your children will become fatherless. Okay, so is that God not showing love to all the widows?
Is that all women? Are we all widows?
Oh, is it? Is that talking about all women, every single widow? Is that talking
I am
about
not
every
a
single widow?
widow. I am not a widow, David, so that's not me. It doesn't apply to me. I'm sorry.
Right.
Can you
I
show
mean,
me again where God loves all women?
right. I understand that you're not a widow, but you said, show me anywhere where God shows that he loves all women. Is this not him showing
All
that?
women. No, I'm not a widow. I don't get included into that. So could you show me again where God loves all women?
Okay, so I just want to get what you understand of this verse. So does God only love all widows and not anybody else but widows?
No, he's only protecting widows here. It doesn't even show that he loves them. He just says, don't fuck with them. You know, have a little compassion.
You what? Like how? How do you think that? Like
I
that's
just told you how.
complete
It doesn't
ignorance.
tell you any. Excuse me, sir?
You're being ignorant to this verse.
What am I being ignorant about?
Because you won't accept that this is showing that he loves women.
It is showing that he protected widows. In no way does that verse say that he loves all women and that all women should be treated equal to men.
So does this verse only saying that God only loves widows?
No, it doesn't say that he loves widows. It just says don't fuck with them.
Okay, so does that mean that he loves them?
No, not necessarily. You know what?
What?
I have a brother who is not very fond of me. Okay, we don't get along. We never have. It's just a thing. We don't like each other. And
Okay.
when I was younger and I was in high school, a boy who I liked came over to my house to see me, and my brother went out there and he threatened him like a tough guy. You know, like you better, you know. And a lot of people would go, look at her brother protecting her. He loves her. No, he doesn't. It didn't change anything. He didn't love me. He went out there and told somebody what he thought a brother should say about protection. It doesn't prove his love to me. It didn't make him honor me for the rest of our relationship. And this doesn't prove God loves women. It says, don't fuck with widows. Nowhere does it say, I love widows. Nowhere does it. And he does talk about things he loves and hates. And he doesn't say it here. And nowhere in this does this include all women. And I made it clear to you several times now. Show me where he loves all women.
Okay, I mean, I can get to that, but I want to address what we're talking about. So, I mean, that personal experience, I don't really know your brother. I don't know what your brother thinks. But if your brother is protecting you, and if your brother didn't care or didn't love you, then he wouldn't have done that. Correct?
Yes, he would have, because he thought it made it look like a tough guy, and that's really what it was about. It had nothing to do with me. He didn't give a fuck about me.
Did you ask him?
And I don't think this God gives I don't give a shit about what my brother thought. I know my brother. I know how he liked to look like a tough guy. And I know how this God does that too. He likes to look like a tough guy. And this God is just saying, don't fuck with widows. There is nothing about this that says, I love widows.
You think God says this because he wants to look like a tough guy?
He says a lot of shit to look like a tough guy.
I was
I
gonna
think
say,
you
there's
should
plenty of
read the
times
Old
that
Testament.
Are we
to
joking?
try and show that
You
he's
think
tough.
God cares if we think he looks tough or not?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why? Oh my God.
Why do you think it
So
says
here's
fear
the
the
thing.
Lord?
You can
Specifically
be
why he works
frustrated all
against
you
the
want, but this
Egyptians.
is a voluntary thing. If you don't
Right,
like what
right,
we have to say, that's completely okay. You don't have to
right,
continue the conversation. But becoming frustrated because you don't like what we have to say or that we won't agree with your narrative, that's weird.
right.
They
I
say
mean,
that
because it's just
fear of
like
the Lord is the beginning
I
of
don't
all
understand.
wisdom.
I don't understand how you guys like read this, and you just take your own interpretation, like the
And like you
farthest
don't
reach of an
wait a minute,
interpretation.
Wow.
you aren't taking your own interpretation, sir?
Hot tea kettle.
You're taking this farthest reach of an interpretation and saying, "Oh no,
And you're
he's
not?
just protecting because he wants to look like a tough guy." Like what?
He
Why?
does.
What?
Kettle.
How is that logical at
What
all?
what do you think that what the reason God hardened Pharaoh's heart was? Pharaoh was ready
Why
to
did he
give
do
up
that?
his hey, I'm still speaking. The middle of my sentence shouldn't interrupt the first of yours.
Okay, sorry about that.
He hardens Pharaoh's heart. Long after Pharaoh's like, I'm ready to let them go, they can go. God says, no, I need to prove to the Israelites that I'm really the best thing since cream cheese. So I'm going to make sure that I look as good as I can to these people.
Okay, where in the Bible? What are you reading from?
There's actually New Testament passages. We're not touching the New Testament right now, but there's New Testament
But there's
passages
Old
that
Testament.
go into detail. Yeah, there's New Testament passages that go into detail about how God intentionally hardened the Pharaoh's heart and the reason why the plagues of Egypt were unleashed and all of these people were harmed, including the firstborns, which were immediately unalived, was all just a display of God's power because he wanted to instill fear into the Israelites. He wanted the Israelites to fear him so that they would obey him. They didn't want the Israelites to at any point question defying this God out of terror.
Mm-hmm. Okay, why did God give them those plagues?
Once again, it was for a display of power. It was to
He
instill
doesn't.
fear into the
So
Israelites into
obviously you
that.
haven't read. Obviously you haven't read because that's not
I've read
why.
the book
If
cover to
you
cover, baby. I've read
if
the book
you've
cover to
read
cover.
it, if you've read the book,
Robin,
he's passing a
could you
divine
please think of the
judgment.
verses where he says that? Because I don't want to talk about Jesus yet, but this particular passage, as you're talking about in the New Testament, isn't talking about Jesus. It's literally talking about Yahweh. So if you
I
could
know.
find them, that would be great.
Yeah, let me fire up my laptop. Un momento, por favor.
Okay, so do you want me to get into the New Testament or are we gonna stay on this?
Excuse me, David. I run the show. I'll handle it. Robin's doing something I asked Robin to do. Just relax.
I'm relaxed.
Okay, then we're handling it. I already said what I want to happen.
Okay, so alright, so we're gonna stay on the Old Testament.
Yeah, just wait a minute. Robin's looking something up. Just have
Alright.
patience.
It's a virtue, is what I'm told. See, and I'm having a good old time. I'm coloring while we're doing this.
That's awesome.
So I think
You guys,
it's safe.
thank you for
And
being here.
Since we're waiting for Robin, and Robin's awesome, by the way. Thank you for doing that work. I came across this thing on TikTok, these these mystery color by number Disney books. And I thought, ooh, that'd be cool. The problem is that the actual color by number is so small that my old eyes can't see it. But I came across a video where I could find them uploaded as PDFs, so I just put them on my Procreate and I can blow them up and color them as I want.
That's cool.
And I freaking, oh my god, I love it. It's between that and like fiber arts, my stress is in balance. I still have stress, but it isn't to the point where I'm running out naked into the street yelling, God, come and get me, we're about to fight. Like I haven't.
That's cool. That's why you guys, that's why when I'm doing my companion workbook for the podcast, it is going to be a color book because I thought it would just be so relaxing to listen to the podcast in color while you're doing it. Robin, if you need me to, I can also look that up on my.
I have it ready right now.
Just let me know.
I
Okay, go right ahead.
So this is from the New American Standard Bible. Personally, this is just the fastest one that I could pull up. Personally, I recommend using
That's
the
fine.
NRSVUE. So starting at, this is Romans chapter 9, verses 17 through 18. It says, "For the scripture says to Pharaoh, for this very reason I have raised you up in order to demonstrate my power in you, and that my name be proclaimed throughout the earth. So then he has mercy on whom he desires and pardons whom he desires."
Right.
So in this passage, God himself, the Father, says that the reason why I did all of that evil shit was a display of power. I wanted to instill terror into the people who would see it. I wanted
Right.
people to be afraid of me so that they would obey me.
Okay. You want me to? All right, I'll respond to that. Okay, so yes, he does display his divine power, but this is because they're worshiping false idols, and he's trying to show them what God is and who God is, and he's showing them, I'm God, he's God. And then this is
Who's
also,
worshiping false idols? It isn't the Israelites.
let's see, conflict continued 10 plagues. Right, God power, Egypt's false gods. Egypt was worshiping false gods, yes.
Egypt was worshiping different gods.
Right,
That's
false
all.
gods. There's only one God.
They were never supposed to worship Yahweh.
Pumpkin. Like, that's too much to get into right now. I can't do that right now. But at any rate,
There's way more than one God, even in your Bible.
No, all right, we're not gonna get into that. I would love to get into that after this, but let me just. Okay, this is also a judicial judgment. This is God judging them for what they did. They worshipped false gods. Did terrible
David,
acts.
he still did it to flex his
Right.
power, and you said he didn't. So you were wrong, and it's okay to
I didn't say he
that.
didn't.
It's okay. Yes, you
Yes,
did.
he
That's the
did.
whole
not-
reason why Robin brought it up. You said
I'm
that
saying-
he didn't do that.
No, you're saying that God did this because he wants to look like a tough guy. I'm saying no, he didn't do it
That's
because he
flexing
wanted to
his
look like a
power,
tough
When
guy.
you're
David.
flexing your
That's flexing his
power,
power.
that's looking like a tough guy, dude.
Yeah, no, he's showing them who is God because they're worshiping false gods.
David, no matter what way you
He-
try and spin this, God himself said it. He was flexing on him.
Did
He
he
was
said
trying
that
to
he's
look like a
flexing
tough
on them?
guy. Yeah, he said that he did it in order to demonstrate my power to you and my
Right.
name be proclaimed.
Right. Because they were worshiping false gods.
The God says, for this very reason I raised you up in order to demonstrate my power in you and that my name be proclaimed
Right.
throughout the earth. Okay, that's what he
Right.
said. That means that he did it to look like a tough guy. He did it so that he
No,
would
that
be
means
feared.
that they're worshiping false gods, and he's showing them who
No,
God
he
is.
doesn't
Now
say
you're
that.
putting words
He
in your
doesn't
God's
say
mouth.
that.
Don't blaspheme up
He
here.
never
Because
Yeah, he
That's
never
not
says that.
blasphemy.
He never says he never says it's because of the false gods. As a matter of fact, the reason he's mad at the Egyptians is because they enslaved the Israelites. So you are just making up shit now, sir.
I'm not making anything up. I mean, we could
Yes,
read the
you are.
context. We can read, if you have read the entire book of Romans and actually read what happened
Angry
before.
page turning isn't gonna fix this for you.
I'm not angry page
Can I
turning.
say something
just
real quick?
Going to Romans.
Can I say something real quick, please? Because I find it really
Go
offensive.
ahead, Vessel.
Thank you. I find it really offensive to call other gods false, right? This God that you're speaking about is a God for a particular group of people. He was never a God for the whole world, okay? So other places had their own gods and their own deities that they worshipped. So you cannot call them false.
I can,
Right?
because they are false.
You
They don't
cannot,
answer.
because they were
not
this
according to
particular
Deuteronomy
God-
32.
This particular God was not worshipped by the other nations. They had their own gods. This particular God never claimed to get those people. He never called those people his people, right? Instead, he sent the Israelites to go and G-side them over and over again.
Uh-huh.
So it is offensive to say false gods. There are many gods, and this particular God recognizes it. That's why he said, "You shall not have other gods before me." He never said to them, don't worship false gods. No.
Okay.
He said,
Does
other
God
gods.
say He is the way, the truth, and the life?
David,
But
when
others.
somebody is
God
still
doesn't say that.
talking, excuse me, David, when somebody is still talking, especially a woman on my panel, you will not interrupt them. Do you understand?
I thought she was done talking.
No, literally still talking. I could hear her voice still going.
Yeah, he
All
just
right.
waits
What
to
else do you have
respond.
to
He
say?
doesn't even listen. He just waits to respond. That's the problem.
I
So
know. I know.
God never said he was the way, the truth, and the life. That is something Jesus said, right?
Jesus is God.
He is not God.
We're
says,
never
talking
"I am the
about
Father alone."
Yahweh in the Old Testament. He
Right.
never says he is God. When I say that me and my husband are one, I am not saying I am Doug. I'm saying that I speak on his behalf. That is all I mean by that statement.
All right. Well, that's just a wrong interpretation.
How
But
much?
No, it's not.
How much, Crystal?
okay, are you done?
It's 10 bucks. It's $10, and you can do it on my throne now, by the way. Deuteronomy 32, 8 and 9. How do you respond to that? It says, when the Most High apportioned the nations, when he divided humankind, he fixed the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the gods. The Lord's own portion was his people, Jacob, his allotted share.
Okay.
The Israelites.
How
Yes.
many gods were there?
Let's see. I'm gonna look into it right now. Hold on.
He's
You're going to go
it's
find
not
an
gonna come up-
apologetics website.
Depending on what translation he has, it's not going to say that.
I
What
know.
translation are you
It
guys
should,
reading?
but it doesn't. NRSVUE.
NRSV. What?
The
New Revised Standard Edition, updated edition.
NRSVUE.
I never even heard of that.
Yes,
The
that's
New
what
Revised
scholars
Standard
use.
you don't-
Edition
That's the problem.
updated.
You're obviously reading. I mean, I read KJV, NIV, and NKJV.
That's literally the worst one.
Oh
Read
my God.
literally any other one besides that. I'm being
I will
serious.
pay
I'm
you
not trying to be
actual
rude.
dollars, David.
Because what?
I will pay you actual money to never read those versions again.
You think I want your money? I don't.
The money's for you to get a better
You
Bible,
took
sir.
what she said literally? Do you think she's being literal?
What?
Oh gosh.
Okay.
All right.
David,
So
I do
I'm
want
gonna.
to address something. Hold on, David. I do want to address something that you said, though,
Okay.
because this is, I don't think that you meant to do this intentionally,
What?
but the rhetoric that you were talking about, the justification where these people were worshiping other deities, therefore they are deserving of unalivement. I want to let you know that for centuries, for millennia now, that kind of ideology has been used for mass genocide. It was used by the Mustache Man, and it was used by many other
Who is the mustache man?
dictators.
Hitler.
The German
Think,
one.
Dave.
I'm allowed to say it.
It
I'm a
was-
Jew. TikTok.
Well, my point is that could you imagine applying that to a modern
Doesn't know
context?
who it is. Sorry.
Oh, sure, that's all. But my point, though, David, is if you did that in today's world, let's say we were talking about Hindu folks, and you said, obviously I don't think this, but hypothetically, if you said, well, all of these Hindu folks, they don't deserve to live because they worship different deities. They worship false deities. They don't worship my one true supreme deity. Therefore, they are deserving of unalivement. Do you realize how genocidal, how inhumane that is? Because that exact same logic that you're applying was used back then. And it leads to nothing but harm and suffering for people. It's inhumane, it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And just to let you know, it's also used against people who would argue that you're not worshiping the correct version of the Abrahamic deity. There are people in the Middle East that would say you're an infidel because you don't worship the correct version of our God. Therefore, you don't deserve to live. That
Okay.
exact same mentality can be used by people who worship the Abrahamic deity too, and it's very destructive, David.
When I was
Is there
a
a
Christian,
state?
David,
Is that a statement or is there a question in there?
Can I please speak now?
Oh, yeah,
I
sorry.
was in the middle of speaking. when I was a Christian, David, I did believe like you do. I really did, because that's what I was taught. There is only one God, and all the other were false gods. And then I actually learned about the religion itself, where it came from, the history of the religion. And I learned new words like henotheistic. Do you know what that means?
No, ma'am.
That
Okay,
is what Jews are.
henotheistic, that's what Jewish people are. Henotheistic means that you believe there are many gods, but you only worship one God. That is your one true God. The other gods exist, you don't worship them. And that is what we used to be as Christians. We're henotheistic because we come from Jewish people. We appropriated their religion, and then we added a Messiah onto it, and we became Christians. We believed there were other gods. It even talks about them in Revelation, which is the New Testament. Okay, so what we believed was it was wrong to worship them. So we can pretend now that no other gods exist, they're all false. But that is not what Yahweh tells you. That is not what the Bible tells you. That's not what Jesus tells you.
Okay. Was there a question or is there a statement in there?
That was a statement. Do you think I fucking asked you a question?
Okay, so
Heard
in
that
Exodus, to respond to
No, David. No, David. No, David. No.
what?
You are not listening to people when they're talking to you. You are only waiting to respond with what you want to say. It is rude. It's disrespectful. We're having a conversation with you.
Mhm.
And if you can't
I remember
respect
that,
us
Abe.
enough to actually hear what we say, then I don't think you're old enough to have this conversation. I
Okay.
thought you were, but I think I might be wrong.
I
Okay.
remember that age when I thought my dick was bigger than everybody else's.
Okay, so I mean, I'm hearing what you guys are saying, but when you
But you're
say
not
that,
responding to the things we're saying. You're jumping to what you want to say instead of actually engaging in the conversation.
well, what you're saying, I mean, you said a statement, and then some Robbie or whatever her name is, she said a statement.
Robin said a statement, and then I said a statement.
Right. So
And you're not responding to either of them. You're wanting to go jump to make your next point.
I'm about to respond to Robin.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, she was saying, talking about God only judged them because of their false gods, and I find it disrespectful. There is no false gods. In Exodus 12, verse 12, God says, "Against all gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment." So when he made the Nile blood, he humiliated the god Hapi, of Nile's fertility, and I don't know, the Khnum or something like that, the guardian
Where are
of the
you reading
river's
this?
source.
Where are you reading this? Give us the source.
More ChatGPT.
This is, I'm looking up the verses. This is just like
Notice it
this is
doesn't say false gods. It says when
this
he went, I will go to war against their gods.
right.
It doesn't say against their false gods. It says I will go to war against their gods.
Says
I might play devil's
against
advocate
all
for
the
him,
gods of
Rabbi.
Egypt, I will execute judgment.
The King James version he might be familiar with may actually say false gods. I might actually play devil's advocate here because there's a lot of distortions in the KJV, which I don't
Devil's
recommend.
advocate.
I don't. It doesn't say false gods.
It doesn't say false gods. It says I will go to war against their gods.
Okay, so the Nile of the blood, the frogs, a strike against Hecate, the frog-headed goddess of birth, darkness, eclipse, the Ra, the supreme
No.
sun god, showing.
Where does it say this in Exodus that that's why he did these specific plagues? This is an apologetic. This is not what it says.
These are the gods' names and why God did those
Where
plagues.
in Exodus does it say that that's why God did those plagues? Where in Scripture does it say that?
Exodus 12, verse 12, against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment.
No. Right. And show me where it says, and that's why he made it dark was because of Ra.
Because, well, we can use our thinking and we can put two and two together.
We can use our ChatGPT.
Right.
No.
We can
No.
put two and two together And
You're not allowed to
yeah, I
do
mean,
that.
I don't understand what you're not getting.
You're not allowed to do
Okay,
that.
what I'm
The
not.
Bible clearly says that. You cannot add to the text.
I'm not adding.
What they're
You are.
saying,
Yes, you are.
David, what they're trying to explain to you is you mentioned the actual verse, which is that I will go to war against their gods, but then you're saying this is why this happened because of Ra. So that is not present in the text. What you're reading is extra biblical commentary about what plagues were against which gods, which I'm aware of this too. We do that in Judaism too, where we line up what gods were being humiliated. But the difference is that in Judaism, we recognize these were other gods. They're just not our gods. God went to war with other gods because that is what Exodus says. I will go to war. I will make war with these other gods.
Okay, he's not saying he's going to war because God can, at the snap of his finger, destroy them. He's not
Really?
going to
Because
war.
he can't fucking defeat iron chariots, my guy.
God is ultimately more powerful. Jesus is ultimately more powerful than all those false
Jesus.
gods.
Really?
It was really
Because he
such
can't
a
defeat
preachy
iron
voice.
chariots.
Yeah, more
He said
powerful than a Toyota
he said he'll
Camry.
execute judgment. He's not going to go to war. He's going to execute judgment. He's judging them because he's stronger
Is that what
and
it
greater
says?
than those
Hey,
false gods.
David, stop preaching to us, okay? You're yelling.
Because I
and
don't
you're
think that's what
preaching,
it says
and we're
in the
not
Hebrew.
here. To,
I think it
yes,
says
you
make
are.
war.
Yes, you are. You sound just like a preacher right now.
Let me see.
Let's read it.
All right, go
Exodus,
read it.
what?
Exodus 12, verse 12.
All right, we will. Relax.
I'm
Getting
relaxed.
a little animated. For I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will strike down every firstborn in the land of Egypt, both human beings and animals. On all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgments. I am the Lord. So we are right. What we said was right. There is more than one God. You are wrong. The other gods exist.
You just read it, and now you're saying that there's all gods when he just said, I am Lord. You just read it.
No, it just says I am the
Right.
Yud Vav He.
Did he say,
Lord, do
I
you know
am
what Lord
Lord?
means? Do
Oh
you
my-
know why they put the word
It
Lord
doesn't
there,
The
say
coping
David?
is funny.
Lord.
The coping is funny.
David, listen.
Oh,
David,
whoa.
do
You
you
don't gotta start
know why the
screaming.
word Lord is there? David, shut the fuck up and listen.
Oh my goodness.
You haven't heard screaming yet. Somebody mute him and keep him muted. I cannot take that. I am not
I'm not
going
gonna
to
sit here and be mute.
fight with you to then get the fuck off my stage. Ask
I
if
will.
I
Jesus
care,
is God.
sir. Fuck your
Jesus
Jesus.
is God.
Fuck your Jesus. Fuck your Jesus. Listen.
Thank you. No,
You-
I don't like God.
You literally proved our point by going to that verse. And the word Lord is there because they don't like to use the name of God because it was considered
Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh.
blasphemous to do so. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's only there to replace that.
That was really frustrating. I didn't get the chance. I wish that I could have. I wish that he would have been receptive to the things that I was saying because I was trying to explain to him that in the past, from ancient antiquity and into the present to this day, whether we're talking about the ancient Canaanites that were G-sided back then for believing in different deities and refusing to submit to the Israelite deity, or whether or not we're talking about currently today in the Middle East, how there are extremists that say Allah is the supreme God. If you're not worshiping Allah and you're not doing it our way, then you're an infidel and you deserve to be unalive. No matter what way you try to spin it, the idea that you must obey and worship my God, and if you don't, you deserve to be unalive. That's what the mustache man did. That's what many dictators of the past, many kings, queens, royals, they would commit mass G-side in the name of you can only worship my one true supreme version of this deity. It's harmful. If we did that today with the Hindu people and we said, you people worship all of these different deities. You don't worship the one true supreme deity. Therefore, the billions, capital B, of you deserve to be unalived. We would say that is insane. That is inhumane. You should not do that. This point went right over his head. And instead of actually addressing what I said, he wanted to go back into the text, and he tried to go into the New Testament, but we wouldn't let him. He tried to go back into the text and say, no, 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 no. They deserved it because they were worshiping false deities. Did exactly what I
May
told
I
you
ask
was
you a
harmful.
question, kid? May I ask you a
No, you do
question,
not
kid?
ever interrupt anybody up here. Excuse me. Go ahead, Robin, finish. We don't do that. If
That
you can't
same
stay on
rhetoric,
mute, I will drop you back down.
that same
Go ahead,
rhetoric has
Robin.
been used by Abrahamic religion for thousands of years to genocide people, to enslave people,
Yeah.
to deny their humanity. And I also another thing that skipped past him was because the conversation moved along. At one point, we were talking about slavery. The Bible itself was the manual that was used to lay out how slavery would be done in the
Yeah.
antebellum South. The
Yep.
the way that we treated foreign slaves, which were the African Americans in the text, was chattel slavery. It was how it was described in Exodus. And then the indentured servitude were the Irish, were the Italians, were the whitey people. We and by proxy, of course, that would have meant that we were treating the whitey people as though they were Israelites, according to the text. And I would have even given the apologetic and said, well, abolitionists also fought for people to be freed from bondage, from slavery. However, they did that because they felt bad that their fellow Christians were being enslaved. They did that
Right.
because it didn't sit right in their tummy, because it made them feel bad. And that's just
Listen, I want to introduce the next guest, and I also have other guests waiting.
okay.
So I want
Sorry.
to get to him. No, it's okay. It's okay. James, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yes, ma'am. 46, Marine vet.
Okay, can I get your pronouns, please?
I'm a fucking man.
Okay, and
You're
do
a
I call
fucking
you
idiot.
he? Can I call you he, him, she, her, or
You
they,
can
them?
call me by my name, which is James.
Then I can tell you to get the fuck off my show if you're a bigot. Okay, let's go for the next one.
My is a pronoun, sweetheart, just to let you know.
Hey, 18-year-olds are adults or whatever your name is. I am almost 60. You got a fucking problem with my age, little boy?
You're almost 60, acting like this.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
How am I acting? How am I
It's
acting?
very faggy and retarded. You remind me of that
Okay,
nigger
and you're
Tinsiet.
blocked now.
That faggot Tinsiet.
Well,
Okay,
it's
bye, faggot.
I'm
yeah.
sure your
Hag.
God's proud. I'm
Fucking
sure your God's
retard.
so
Interesting for
proud of your
somebody to
disgusting
say
behavior.
that. It's interesting for anyone to say that when it sounds like they currently have a dick in their ass.
Pull out those anal hair
I am
jerseys,
clipping.
sweetheart.
Oh my God.
He came
And
up
now I
thinking
got a
he was
violation. I did. I removed him, TikTok. I removed him. He just got in big trouble with TikTok. They started like, get rid of that guy. Oh my goodness.
So it wasn't me. It wasn't me? Because I'm afraid it was
no,
me.
it was me.
'Cause
It was him.
I have
it
been
was
known.
him. Isn't it funny that he came up here is talking about him how immature I was acting for being almost 60,
Yeah,
and then that's what he
exactly.
did. It's so weird.
He thinks he can get a pass to do that because he's 18 or whatever. It's ridiculous.
He followed me too. I don't know why. You guys check because I think he followed a whole bunch of us. Okay, but I blocked him so he can't see me anymore. But if you are a Christian or believer of the God of the Bible, we're talking today about how God's just not that into you. We're talking about women and how He's not into women. I have Jared loading, but I don't know if he's going to make it. Welcome in, Mama Bash Raiders. Welcome in, everybody. I have a minute now to say hi. Vessel, I haven't talked to you forever. How are you doing? Hi,
I'm good, love. Thing is, when TikTok switched, when it was supposed to be shutting down in America and stuff, I lost everyone on my FYP. You're still in my friends list, but I just don't see you on my FYP. So I'll see you today, and then I'll not see you for several months or weeks or whatever. And then today I saw you. I was like, do you know what? I'm going up.
I'm
So,
glad
yeah, I'm
you
glad
came
to
up.
see
I'm
you.
really glad. Hey,
You know what? This
Trust,
happened to
welcome
Jared
in.
before, where he was
I
having a hard.
know.
Oh, there he
Oh,
goes.
thank
He was
you.
having a hard time loading in a couple weeks ago on my channel. I kept having to have him try to load back in
Mama,
over and
welcome
over
in.
again.
I so enjoyed
I want to say hi
watching
to
the
Trust.
ladies. I so enjoyed watching the ladies cook, and not in the way we all think of it, but that was pleasurable to watch. I enjoyed it. So
Well,
thank you
I
for
love
letting me have a
having you
front row
up
seat.
here. And please feel free to chime in when you want, Trust. I love having you up here.
Oh,
Jared,
you had it on
welcome
lock.
to the
I hardly
show.
had to say anything.
What's up? It's been a while since I've spoken to you.
Today
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Today we're talking about how God's not that into you. It was a book back in the early 2000s. It was written by a man. He was saying that men, like women are always like attracted to these men that aren't that into them. And he is like, they're telling you they're not that into you, and you keep trying to date them. And I feel that's how God is too with women. He tells us throughout the whole Bible, he's not into us. So what do you think about that?
Well, I'll say if God really didn't care about any of us or wasn't really into any of us, we wouldn't even be alive. He would have
Oh, I
destroyed us.
think he's into you. I think he's into men. I just don't think he's into women.
That doesn't make any sense. Of course he's into him. He's into
Why?
everybody. He cares about
No,
everybody.
he's
He loves
not.
everybody.
He doesn't give a shit about
Or
women.
Esau
He
He
does.
doesn't care.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, think about
No,
it.
he
One of the most central
doesn't.
women of all history is Mary Magdalene. She's the one that gave birth to Jesus Christ. That's how he came
That
into
is
the
no.
world.
Oh,
Mary
wait,
Magdalene and
hold
the
up.
Virgin Mary are two
I
different
said Mary
people.
Magdalene. I am so sorry. Not Mary
Jared.
Yes, you
Magdalene. I'm
should
talking about
be.
Oh my
Mary. Oh my
Lord.
gosh, I said Mary Magdalene. I'm so
Even
sorry.
I know that, and I'm not
Ah,
even Christian. What the
yeah,
hell,
sorry. I
man?
said Mary Magdalene. I am so sorry on that one.
No,
But
they
Mary,
denigrated Mary
the
Magdalene
wife
and
of
referred to
Joseph.
Mary Magdalene as a whore.
Yeah, but she got saved, so that's a good thing. But what I
Jared,
mean is,
she wasn't
my point is that Mary was like one center point of history.
Jared, listen to me. Mary Magdalene wasn't a whore. Did you know that? Never says that in the Bible. She was never a whore. That was something that the church did to her. And it took centuries before they would come out and admit that they lied about that. But they did it quietly so that people are still calling her a whore to this day. She's not a whore. The Bible never says that. But
They
that
don't want
doesn't
to think
help
that a
your
She
woman
was a
can be an
God.
very
apostle.
promiscuous woman. She had a
No,
lot
she
of
wasn't.
demons in
No,
her.
that's
No,
a
she
lie that
wasn't.
was made up
No,
by
Show
the
she
me
church.
where,
wasn't.
Jared.
Does she
Not
not
only
Show
have
me
that,
demons
where.
but
in her? And do people not do crazy stuff?
that claim was very likely made up and added to the text later to the fact to besmirch her name because she was closer to Jesus than most of the apostles, if not all of them. Not only that, but she was one of many wealthy women uh, who footed
Paying
Jesus's
for him.
bills. Yes, if you read the text and
Okay,
if
so
you
she
could pull it
slept
up, if you
around.
excuse you, I'm in the middle of talking,
No.
sir. There were
Wait,
many
did you just
women
hear what he
back
said
then.
though? Did you hear what he said? He said so she slept around because you said that she was wealthy.
How does that's ridiculous. No. She was
No.
a wealthy woman. She came from the priestly class. The last name
I
Magdalene is where
trust.
she's from the Tower of Magdalene, because her family owned that fucking tower. Her family were
So how was
very
her
wealthy,
lifestyle?
and
How was her
she
lifestyle?
was, what is that? That's not relevant to the point. The point is that she
Can,
was one of many people who donated to Jesus's ministry, and we can look at the text, and there were many women back then that you wouldn't have the Jesus that you have today if it wasn't for the wealthy women that were footing Jesus's bills. And she was one of them. She was arguably the most wealthy of them all. And she was very close to Jesus. She knew Jesus better than most of his disciples. They had a very close
hey
relationship.
Orion.
The misconception that she was a sex worker came from
Pope
later church
Gregory.
fathers who intentionally tried to degrade her name.
Yeah, it was
Well, that's
Pope
what she
Gregory
did.
the
That was her
First.
lifestyle. Just like how
No,
today
You
we
have
have
No,
no
it
evidence to support
people
Jared.
that.
that do those type of things, and
Jared,
they get saved. Same thing with back then. She did that. That was a
man,
lifestyle before she met Jesus. She got
may
saved,
I,
changed her
Jared?
life.
What do you think? Do you think I could say something here, Jared? So the New Testament never calls her a prostitute, Jared. That comes from a sermon in 591 CE by Pope Gregory the First, where he merges three women together: the unnamed sinful woman in Luke 7, Mary of Bethany, and Mary Magdalene. Find me a place in the New Testament where Mary Magdalene is referred to as a prostitute.
Oh, brother. Here we go. All right, fine. Let me see what I can find for you, if it'll help you.
While he's looking for a verse that will not actually exist, keep tapping your screen, sharing out the live. Here's how this works. I'll be live until 2 p.m. But if we meet our gift goal, I'll stay live until 3 p.m. If you want to drop a guest, you can send $10 to the Venmo in my bio, or you can go to my throne and buy the drop a guest gift, but you have to let me know because I sometimes don't get the notification. So make sure you point it out. Also, my podcast, Anti-Sermons, is on episode 5, and I'm going to tell you something. Today's episode 5, fucking excellent. It's about consent, and it has my song Consent in it. So check out Anti-Sermons, AUNTIE, everywhere you listen to podcasts. While he's looking for that, I will let you know that I've looked all through Mark. There's 4 verses where she's mentioned. Nowhere in there doesn't mention it. Did she have demons? Yes, she did. Doesn't tell us what kind of demons. And lots of men had demons, and that didn't make them prostitutes. So it's not about that. Luke 24:10 doesn't say it. Gospel of John, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mentions. Nowhere in there does it say that she's a prostitute. So total explicit mentions 12 to 14 times, and none of them mention her being a prostitute.
Like, it's funny to me that I'm the Jew, and like my mom was really really obsessed with Mary Magdalene for some reason. Even though she's Jewish, she just found her fascinating, and the story of how she was demonized fascinating, because my mom is very pro-woman, and she was like, why is this woman like being harmed? Or so this is the only reason I know as much about her as I do.
Ashra, I have done I've written the one about Sarah. I've performed it live, but the episode with Sarah has not dropped yet on my podcast because I haven't recorded it yet. I'm going to I want to finish getting Genesis done, and then I'm going to start recording extra ones and put out bonus episodes. So yeah, it's called Anti-Sermons, AUNTIE.
For those of you who may or may not caught what I said, the name Magdalene that comes at the end of Mary's name, like Jesus of Nazareth, it was an identifier from which she was from. The Magdalene was from the Tower of Magdalene, which was a tower that her family owned because she was a very wealthy woman and she came from the priestly class. Her father, and I can pull up a source, I forget his name, but his father actually was the head of Herod's treasury. So they would have had access to a lot of capital, shall we say. She definitely would have been one of the highest women of status at the time living in the Levant region.
Oh, words. Okay. Trying to find this verse is a little difficult. What did you find? So I don't have an exact verse that says, hey, this lady was a prostitute.
Because she wasn't. I just went
What did
over.
you
There's
find?
12 to 14. The whole point
What verse?
is there are 12 to. The whole point, Jared, is there are 12 to 14 verses in total that mention Mary Magdalene, none of which ever call her a prostitute.
All right, give me 3. That way I can look at it myself.
All right. Gospel of Mark 15:40. There were also women looking on from a distance. Among them were Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, the younger, and of Joseph and Salome.
Oh, Salome.
15:47. Salome? Oh, okay. Thank you. I was like, wait, how do I say that? Mark 15:47. Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of Joseph, saw where the body was laid. Mark 16:1. When the Sabbath was over, Mary Magdalene, Mary of Mary, the mother of James, and Salome bought spices. Mark 16:9. Now, after he rose early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, from whom he had cast out 7 demons.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go back and look at that part. Because I'm trying to find the verses to kind of support what I'm talking
You're
about.
not going to find them.
Anyway.
Does it really hurt you that much to go, wow, I was wrong and I learned something new today?
No, I'm not hurt at all. I just said I'd go back to and look at it. I'm fine.
I know. You know what? You're not fine, because the fact that you can't say I was wrong means that is a problem in your life. When people can't admit that they are wrong, they're dogmatic, they're not open-minded, and it's very hard for them to take in new information. And that does a disservice to them. Often people who cannot say they are wrong live in cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance causes anxiety, depression, violence, and anger.
So who was she before she ended up meeting Jesus Christ?
Robin just told you and you didn't listen, so we're not going to repeat that. We don't repeat ourselves for men.
So you got a thing against men, or what's going on here?
We have a thing against people who don't actively listen and listen to only respond. People who aren't hearing, who are hearing to respond instead of actively listening to what we're saying and comprehending the information.
But as an aside, what if we did have something against men? You don't think that as women, probably all of us traumatized by men, we would have a right to say, hey, maybe we're a little skeptic of men?
Okay, but not every guy in the world is like that.
Oh, don't give me that every man crap.
You know what?
Is it true or is it not true?
Your Holy Spirit just took away your sound there. I couldn't take your attacking your microphone and whatever you're doing there. It's just really, really bad connection, dude, whatever's going on. So you need to get that Holy Spirit Wi-Fi to, fix it. Okay. We're going to bring up
He sounded like he was in a wind tunnel.
I know. I don't know if this next guest is going to load or not. If not, I'll see if Jared fixes his connection. Trumer, can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yes, I'm 55.
Are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Not anymore, no, after I did some research.
Okay, and what are your pronouns?
Sorry?
What are your pronouns?
What do you mean?
Are
Do you
you
identify
he, him,
as he,
she, her,
she, or they?
them?
Oh, I'm him. I'm married. I'm him.
Okay. And so what do you have on the topic today? Today we're talking about how God's not that into you. It's based on a book that was written by a guy to tell women that they keep dating men who are obviously not that into them. And I feel that way about the God of the Bible. Women should learn that he's not that into them. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree. I believe the Abrahamic religions are how can I say it? In this way, they're patriarchal, murderous cults. That's what they are. That's why they demonize the woman. That's why there's no women prophets in comparison to man. That's why there are women angels, no women angels in comparison to man. It doesn't even say women can go to heaven, quote unquote. So yes,
No, it's true.
I humbly, totally agree. It's bare misogyny. And I just want to add to the people out there that believe in these doctrines as literal.
Chaos.
In order to confuse, see, the woman is the first teacher, right? Because we all come from the woman, unless you don't have a belly button. So in order to confuse the public, the masses of people, the populace, they had to demonize the female principle. Point blank, period. That's why God denotes male, Allah denotes male. All these God concepts denote male. That's why a woman, it says in the Bible, a woman can't teach, she can't, supposed to be silent. It's just pure misogyny. the Old New Testament, the whole entire thing. And it's just a pleasure to see people waking up out of this nonsense that demonizes the very essence that we all come from. So kudos to you. Thank you for letting me
Thank
up.
you.
And it is just nice to see people waking up out of this demonology. There's a book that came out before the Bible. It was called Demonology. This is where you get the word denominations, because it's all demonology. And when you subjugate the woman, by default, you confuse the children. And that means everybody. So it is time we wake up and we have these discussions and these debates, and we emphasize the misogyny and the male chauvinistic energies that come from these religions. It's just time. So I thank you, my dear sister. I thank you.
Well, thank you
Thank you
so
for
much
coming
for
up.
coming up. We're going to get another op up here, but it was really nice to meet you guys. Make sure you give Trumer a follow. We really appreciate that. Let's see. We're going to bring Motherlode Witch up. By the way, when he said demonology was written before the Bible, he means before the King James Bible. Okay, like it's not written before the Bible. Okay. Hi, Mother. How are you today? Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 30 and they, them.
Okay, and are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Nope, I am an atheist and traditional witch. I do not practice anything involving the Abrahamic religions.
Cool. So I don't know if you heard what the topic is today, but it's God's not that into you. And we're talking about how that book came out, back in the 2000s or whatever. And he was talking to women, telling them you're dating guys who are clearly showing you they're not that into you. And here's how, you can tell they're not calling you back. They're, only wanting to date you on a Monday night, not on the weekend, and all kinds of things he pointed out. And that's kind of how I feel about the God of the Bible. He's showing women everywhere in the Bible that he's not that into them. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. That's why I deconstructed from the Abrahamic religions in 2019. Okay. I experienced conservative Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. And understanding the cultures and religions and experiencing them, I realized, why do I want to be a part of a God that harms and marginalizes and women and children? And that's what led me to my deconstruction and into witchcraft, essentially. So I've been practicing witch now for the last 3 years.
That's really cool.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
But I love what you guys do. Keep it up, and I'll be down in the comments.
All right. Thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Let me see if Jared has better sound now, or if he's still here, whatever. He's trying to come back up. Robin Vessel, Rabbi Hannah, thank you so much for being here. You guys, if you are a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible, the guest box is open. Feel free to come on up. If you are over on YouTube, I'm working on a way to try to get you to be a part of the conversation. I think I have finally fixed the sound problem over on YouTube today. So if I have fixed it and it's working well, we might try tomorrow sometime to add a Discord call-in number that they can try, or call-in link or whatever, not a number, but a link that they could go to do a Discord call with me. We'll see if that works. I don't know. We're just trying. I got a guest here. Well, maybe they won't load either. I've seen this happen on a lot of people's lives too lately, where there'll be people in the guest box and they'll go to accept them and then they just don't load in. So I try and sometimes they don't load.
Okay, what happens is they request and then TikTok tells them they can go and view another live stream and it will inform them when you're ready to bring them up. So I think when they go to the other page and they find what's happening there's more interesting, they don't come back. Because I've had it where I've gone somewhere else and I've gotten a notification that the host is bringing you up and I run back quickly.
Okay, all right. That could be what what is happening. YouTube, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day over there. Thank you for tuning in. If you're not following me over on YouTube, please do so. Also, I am really close to finally being monetized over there. So if you have an extra device around the house and you have a little bit of time on your hands, set it up to play some of my playlists. Do not fast forward it and do not mute the actual video. You can mute your iPad or whatever you're listening to it on, your device, but don't mute the show because then I don't get credit and I need those watch hours, to get the monetization. Thank you, Asher. I appreciate you. It really helps. You guys have no idea. All of the things you guys do mean so much to me. And because of it, I try to offer you some cool things. So here's some reminders. Friday, we have Hebrew class for free in my Discord, okay? And Rabbi Bert does it. We're learning like we're kids, okay? So it's a really easy class. I mean, like, it's not, but I mean, like, anybody could take it, okay? And if you haven't made it to the first few lessons, Tahir has put them up in video format in my Discord, so you can watch those, catch up with us, and then join the next lesson. And then Friday night, we're all going to hang out in my Discord and have a sleepover. We're watching the Twilight series because I fucking hate vampires and they feel like torturing me and making me watch this. So we're going to hate watch Twilight, the series, and you guys can join us. I'm probably going to get some kind of lovely edible on Friday in my Discord.
Ooh, what time?
I'll send you the info. I forget right now. I think it's like 7 or 8 o'clock. We're getting together. Okay, I'll send it to you.
It's one of those like secret vices of mine to watch the Twilight series because I first read my daughter, my oldest daughter, the one who's about to be 33, read through the series when she was like 12, 13, 14 years old. And no one else would read them, so I read them so she could talk to me about them. And then we saw all the movies together. So even though they're not the greatest movies, every time I watch them, I think about having these conversations with my kiddo. So when they come on like TNT and stuff, I'm like, all right, I'll watch these. Although I was always Team Jacob. I'm just going to be real with you.
Okay, all right. I like what Chaos says. Don't worry, Crystal. They aren't vampires. They're just sparkly mosquitoes. Also, I have coming up. I'm sorry, that's a what?
I thought you'd pause. How do we join your Discord?
Oh, the link is in my bio. So check that out. Join it. It's absolutely free to join. Also, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons in April in my Discord. That's kind of booked up, but you can join as a standby or you could join us to watch us play. We'll be playing in a voice channel. Meg Jack has volunteered to help us out. And so he's going to be the dungeon master. And so we're doing fun things over in my Discord if you aren't. And as you know, I have the podcast. I have the album out, Ex Parte, and I am working on new songs for you. And I know I owe you a music video for Icuntic, but I just have too many things going on right now. Just too many. So I'm doing the best I can, but I do appreciate all the support. And because of all the support, I do try to keep bringing you guys more. Like I want to provide you not only with entertainment, but education and community. And I hope I do that. I am on my way to monetization. I'm almost monetized, silly goose. I need 3,000 total watch hours, and my last check I was at 1,932. So every time people play my playlists and stuff, it gets me that much closer to monetization. It's the only goal I have left out of the monetization. And if I hadn't had so many dang issues with my YouTube, I would be there already, but I think we fucking fixed it today. I don't know why, but on a fluke, I just thought, everybody told me to use Chrome, and then I was like, what if I just use Edge? And it worked. So yeah, so I'm going to use Edge every day. so my sound's not fucked up over there. And yes, I could teach you how to do this, Rabbi Hannah. It's not hard. It just gets frustrating. The name of the podcast is called Anti-Sermons, AUNTIE. And it decenters men. What we're doing is we're going through the Bible methodically and chronologically. At least in the podcast, when I do it live, it's not always chronologically because I screw up and miss people and I have to go back and do them. It's not easy finding all the women because many of them are unnamed. And that's what we're doing. We're doing sermons for every woman, named or unnamed. Every girl or girls, woman or women, named or unnamed in the Bible. And we're decentering the men in the stories and we're centering the women. And so it's been difficult because it would be really easy each time to say, okay, today's sermon is about erasure because they totally erased this woman from the story. But that would be boring. So I do a lot of research. I look into the rabbinical teachings, the Christian teachings, extra biblical teachings, feminist teachings, and then try to write a sermon that is relevant and hopefully helps you when you're out there in your life, helps you realize that you should decenter men too. Because it's a hard thing for women to do because we've been taught to do it from the day we are born. So hopefully it helps. It helps me. I'm learning a lot as I go through this. I was telling Rabbi Hannah today, like, I did not realize that Jesus came from the sex between Lot and his oldest daughter. That's the line Jesus comes from. That's the line.
And then he's got Rahab as well as one of his grandmothers. And then
and let's not forget that he has Tamar, who slept with Judah.
I was just going to say Tamar is one of my more favorite women in the text because she was like, I'm not waiting for you to give me what's owed to me. I'm going to go get that shit myself.
And then you've got David and Jonathan.
And Silly Goose, my song Consent is in episode 5 of Anti-Sermons. So if you like that song, episode 5 is about consent because we're talking about the daughters of humans in that episode.
Yeah. Oh, hi everybody. I'm back, by the way. Wasn't it Ruth and Naomi? Am I correct? Weren't they the Lebanese couple?
Okay, so here's the thing, and people are not going to like that I say this, but I'm going by what we know scholarly. There is nothing in the text to show that they weren't, but there's nothing in the text to show that they were. So having queer readings of Ruth and Naomi and David and Jonathan are completely within the boundaries because we can see, and I got a little pushback about it, honestly, Crystal, and I took that pushback in and kind of thought about it. So you saw my video about David and Jonathan and how, while academically we cannot say one way or the other, having queer readings of them is not erasing the history, but allows queer people to be represented within the text. And somebody in earnest pushed back a little and said they also enjoy seeing it as non-toxic masculinity because here are two men who are unafraid to show each other that they have care and affection for one another that is not predicated on this hyper masculine toxic behavior. And I was like, I'm going to have to actually dwell on that for a little while. And I ended up writing up a thing for it for my Patreon. Could they be seen this way as well? Now with Ruth and Naomi, of course, it literally, Boaz only serves one purpose, and that's to get Ruth pregnant. And then it says that Naomi and Ruth raised that baby. That the baby was raised upon the knee of Naomi. So there's a little more like maybe Ruth and Naomi and Boaz was just a means to an end.
Maybe. Maybe.
But did Ruth make vows to Naomi, like marriage vows, or
They
similar
were
vows
very
that are similar?
covenantal. Yes. So she says, entreat me not to leave you. Your God will be my God. Your people will be my people. Your land will be my land. And where you are buried, so shall I be buried. So they are very covenantal.
Yeah.
They sound, I mean, like, even if the text can't confirm or deny whether or not they were romantically involved, it does it fits all the criteria for for a lesbian couple, for me,
Absolutely.
just based on how it's described, for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm very pro reading it that way. There's a really good
You guys
book.
think?
Oh, I'm so sorry,
Go ahead.
Crystal. There is a really
I
good
was just
book
gonna do a commercial.
called Torah Queries, and it does queer readings of the Hebrew text.
Oh, that's cool. You guys, thank you all for being here. Thank you for tapping that screen and sharing out the live. I do have a gift goal. If we reach the gift goal, I'll be live until 3. But right now, I'll be live for 1 more hour. Gifts are not expected, but they're always appreciated. And you guys are helping me get a new PC. We are almost 30% to my goal. And that is thanks to a very big big benefactor, but and a few donations, but also hey, I'm selling some things, because I used to be a reseller. I've told you about that before. And so I decided, as I'm cleaning my house and everything, I'm going to go through and start selling things I don't need, just like I used to do, but not on the scale that I used to do it. And I'm going to make some little videos. Thank you. And show, I love it so much because it matches my headphones. And I'll show you guys what I did. Like today, I shipped out a bunch of junk for $35. So that's kind of cool. And I'm going to show you guys how I do that. So you guys, if you see those videos, watch them, check them out. If you have questions, you can ask me. I'll teach you how to ship. I'll teach you where to list. I'll teach you how to cross post, whatever you want to know. Do you like octopus, Robin? I'm always afraid to try octopus. It looks too chewy for me.
I love octopus. I love seafood.
I
Now,
love
it may sound
seafood.
weird, but my all-time favorite food is eel sushi. And it's definitely an acquired taste. It's not for everybody, but I love sushi. I love seafood, and I'll eat some damn raw octopus. I'm a freak. I love me some raw octopus.
Okay, is it chewy though?
Oh yeah, it's definitely chewy, but it tastes
I
so
don't know if I
good.
could do it.
If
Oh,
you
I
want something
just see
that's
that's one
not
of the
as
reasons.
chewy, you could go squid.
Mhm.
Squid's less chewy.
Okay. Yeah.
It's still chewy, but it's less chewy. I love me some squid too. And you don't even have to cook it for me. I'll eat it raw because I'm crazy.
You sound like my daughter. I make the joke, my daughter loves all kinds of seafood. So I make the joke that she would eat a boot if she fished it up out the ocean. Just because.
Y'all remember that sentient boot from SpongeBob that took them
Yes.
to the... I would eat that boot. You guys don't even know. I would
I
eat
think
that
my
boot.
daughter would too.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is
Octopus.
about eating raw sea creatures, but they are delicious. And funny thing about me is I don't eat meat very often. I mostly eat a diet consisting of raw fruits and vegetables. And one of- I used to be a vegetarian for a very long time, but for health reasons, because I have anemia and I need my iron and protein and other concerns like that, I do eat meat occasionally. And my favorite is seafood. Love me some seafood. And I eat the weirdest seafood too. You don't even have to cook it. I will eat it raw because I'm crazy like that. East Asian cultures know what's up, especially the Japanese.
I'm gonna have to try it sometime, I guess. But I don't know. I like for instance, I like menudo. I love menudo, but I don't like tripe. And menudo is basically tripe because I don't like the texture of tripe. But the flavor it actually gives menudo like is so yummy and delicious.
How do you
I don't like
feel about a
chewy.
boneless?
I do like that.
I do too. I made birria last night for my nephew's birthday.
I love birria. Oh my god, I love it so much. I
Have you
made
tried to make tamales
barbacoa. Not yet. I don't remember if we. Okay, so if you remember, at that time I was on baby watch, and so we
that's
kept
right.
having all these false alarms. So we put it off. But I think we're still going to make them this spring, just for the fun of it, because we want to do it. So we're going to still make them.
Because of you, and because I had given you the recipe, I was telling my wife that I'd given you the recipe, and she goes, "It's nice that you gave out the recipe. How about you make some?" And so I've made them twice now, and she's very excited. And I'm probably going to make some more sometime this month. My nephew's birthday was last night. He wanted birria. My son's birthday is on St. Patrick's Day, and I was like, "Do you want corned beef?" And he's like, "I'll be honest with you, Mom, I hate corned beef." I'm like, "Okay, so what do you want?" And he's like, "I think I want birria, but I feel bad asking you to make it twice in a week." And I'm like, "That's fine if that's what you want for dinner, and then I'll make birria again." I'm like, "Do you want tamales?" And he's like, "Ooh, maybe tamales, but I think probably birria."
I also want to learn how to make lumpia, which is Filipino food. And my daughter just got the recipe for that. So now I'm like, oh man, I'm going to have to be cooking here pretty soon. Some tamales, some lumpia. I don't know. I love food. Food is good.
I love food too. I'm
Vessel,
actually
have a
fasting
good
today, not
day.
for religious reasons, but it's hard hearing all this talk about food. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I do these
I
like
think we do
24-hour
it
fasts. Yeah, it seems like
every
every
time
single
you're
time I'm coming up
fasting.
here and I'm fasting, and keep in mind, when I say fasting, you guys, I'm not doing it for like religious observances or anything like that. I just do it to reset my metabolism. It's very good for you to do every once in a while. Anyway, um, I do make sushi from scratch at home. I'm not doing anything crazy. It's not like I'm eating pufferfish or some shit like that. Because that would be actually
I do
dangerous. Some
too.
sushi actually does require, a skilled person to make. But
Right.
you can. I've made things like crab, salmon, tuna. There's very
Mm-hmm.
easy ones that you can make at home. But if you are new to sushi, Crystal, those are the three things that I would recommend that I think you would like. And there's even
Oh, I'm
vegetarian
not new
sushi
to
out there.
sushi. I'm not new to
Oh,
sushi or
okay.
seafood. I just wasn't sure about octopus yet because I'm not new to it. I always look at it and think I kind of want to try it, but I'm afraid it's chewy, and I have a thing about textures. More like the taste I might enjoy, and I still might go, oh, I don't like the texture. So. No, I make sushi at home. I do like California rolls and things like that. And now that you said
I do
that,
that too.
I haven't done that in a while, and I'm gonna order stuff for it this week so I can do it because now I realize I haven't made
Yes.
some in a while.
That's awesome. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah. Well, if you want to get introduced to octopus, then maybe venture to a hibachi restaurant and have them. You can eat cooked octopus before you eat raw octopus. That'll probably, you know, it'll get your foot in the door, get your toes wet a little bit, so you can decide how you feel about it.
Yeah, Lori, I do have a texture thing. Deep fried rolls are abominations, but delicious. Ooh, I don't think I've ever had a deep fried roll. I do like though. I like things that are fried tempura style instead of like an American fried thing. Where I don't know. There's
That's what they
something
batter it
about
with.
tempura that I know I like it so much better like that. Like I think
Hmm.
everything that's fried should be fried tempura.
That would
It's
be
so much
great.
better that way.
A lot of things that are fried in Japan, aside from tempura, the Japanese also love panko, and I do too. I think things that are fried in panko are delicious.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, I like that too. But it's also kind of like lighter than like American fried food, right? It's just I
It
don't know
is.
that it's not as
Yeah.
heavy.
I need to drop so I can go and take. Speaking of food, my mom just messaged me and was like, "I would like some lunch," so I'm gonna drop so I can go feed
Okay.
my mama. Thank you for
Oh,
letting
All
me come
right.
spend so
Thank
much
you
time
for
with
being
you.
here.
enjoy your
I
meal
had a
with your
good time. Thank
mom.
you so much.
Have a good day.
Bye, Rabbi Hannah.
Bye, Rabbi. Make sure you guys are following Rabbi Hannah. I don't suppose you're not following her. I would suppose you are already, but just in case you're not, you should follow her.
Not only is
I
she a
am in
wonderful
so
person, but
much
she's a
pain.
wealth of information. Oh, you're in
She
pain,
is.
Crystal?
She is a wealth of. Yes, and I have to have X-rays done on my knee this week. So they tested to make sure I don't have deep vein thrombosis, which is something they worry about because I had surgery this past year, and you can have like a blood clot and stuff after surgery. I do not have deep vein thrombosis. I told them what I think I have, and I kind of feel like nobody listened to me, but what can you do? That's what doctors do, right? And so I think what I have is called a Baker's cyst, and it's probably because I probably have arthritis in my knee. I have arthritis other places in my body. Tahir knows, man. Tahir had to listen to me this week. It was so ridiculous trying to get doctors to listen to like other doctors about shit this week. It was so crazy. Anyway, and so I think I have what's called a Baker's cyst. It's like this little pocket of fluid that can go behind an injury in your knee or arthritis or anything like that. And then that, since your knee bends right there, it builds up like a lot of fluid in your leg will swell, it will cause pain because of the nerve that's there, because of the tendons, and so it hurts all the way down from my knee to my leg. But there's no like comfortable way to, like, I can't get comfortable. I Even if I'm like sitting like in my bed with my legs stretched out in front of me or something, it's still painful. So I mostly just have to ice it and take ibuprofen. But even that, it doesn't help a lot.
I'm
So
sorry to hear that. Why is it called
I
a
get
baker's
X-rays
cyst?
sometime this week. I don't know. That's a good question. I've
Also,
never asked.
another question I have is I need you to see, because I heard thrombosis, and that doesn't sound right. Like a
Mm-hmm.
trombone, that sounds like a musical instrument. Or it sounds like one of the creatures from you know what I mean? Like that doesn't sound
Yeah.
right. Like, I'm like, did you say thrombosis? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's called deep. It's called deep vein thrombosis. It's when you have a blood clot in your leg, basically. And I don't know. I don't know what thrombosis means. I'd have to look that up. The reason for a Baker's cyst, though, it comes from William Morant Baker, an English surgeon who wrote about this condition in 1877. He noticed that swelling behind the knee often came from fluid in the knee joint pushing backward into a small sac behind the knee. So the cyst became known as the Baker's cyst. And it happens due to arthritis, meniscus tears, knee injury. So
Oh
they'll
my
think
gosh.
it sucks because they're gonna send me in for this fucking yeah, they're very serious, Nancy. So they were very worried about it, made me worry about it. And then when I got the results back, they wouldn't fucking read the results. It was driving me crazy. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I think they're gonna do an X-ray. Well, I know they're gonna do an X-ray in the next couple of days. And the X-ray is not gonna really show them anything because there's no fucking broken bone. It might show them I have arthritis, but they're going to need an MRI. And the fact that I have to go through this whole charade of getting a fucking X-ray instead of the MRI, it just bugs the shit out of me, because the next thing they're going to do is go, okay, now we need an MRI so we can make sure that it's not a meniscus tear or whatever, all the hoops you have to jump through. And meanwhile, I sit here in pain and nothing is alleviating it.
And this is just me saying this. Sometimes I do think that them pussyfooting around like this is intentional because I want you to spend more money because we have a for-profit healthcare system that doesn't fucking work.
Yep.
It's so frustrating.
Exactly. Okay, look at we have smart people in chat, and thrombosis just means blood clot. So that's why it's called a deep vein thrombosis.
You know, whenever you
Thank you,
said
God.
I can't on the phone properly do this, but I wanted to do like when I heard you say baker's cyst, my heart was going, it sped up because I worked in a bakery for a really long time and I was like, what the fuck is that? I'm concerned. Do
Oh
bakers
my
get
God.
it?
Oh, no. No bakers. Well, they probably get it, but only because they probably have arthritis from standing on their feet all day or whatever, they wear the
That's
knees
what I
out
was
and they
afraid you
might
were
get them
gonna
too.
say. Because the bakery that I worked at, you had to do a lot of bending, a lot of you'd have to do some squatting, you'd have to like lean over. If you're decorating a cake, you know what I mean? You gotta lean and
Mm-hmm.
some of the people I did work with at the bakery who had been working there for a long time would talk about how, with them working with these teeny tiny fine cake piping tips and them having to squeeze it and fit it, they would start to get arthritis in their hands. And I was thinking to myself, baker's cyst, this sounds arthritic. What is this? Am I like later on in life going to get
Sucks so bad.
arthritis from working in a bakery? Oh my God.
You might actually, but it does suck so bad. Okay, so here's what happened too. Like I started having pain when my grandson was born, and I thought, oh, I just have arthritis. Now I have a fear of arthritis medication, and I know that sounds super weird, but I have a reason for it. My mother had arthritis, and she took arthritis medication religiously because she was prescribed it for her severe arthritis. And it was called Vioxx. And if anybody knows about Vioxx, what happened was that many people had strokes, heart infarctions, and died from the medication. My mother had a heart infarction. She ended up having a stroke. She became paralyzed. And in my belief, 100%, it is what killed her because eventually she became depressed and didn't feel like getting better. And she did die from other causes, but I do believe that was a contributing factor. And you wouldn't be able to convince me otherwise, to be honest with you, unless you showed me medical records that proved something different. So at the time, almost all arthritis medication was pretty much similar because you know how they do that. Just like the GLP-1s are all very similar, different kinds, different ones, they're similar. And at the time that she passed away, it was 2009, almost all of them were very similar in nature. And so I didn't want to take any of them. I don't want to die. I'm not ready for that yet. I got a lot of sermons to write still. I'm not ready to die. So I was just like, okay, I have arthritis. I'll just live with it. So I didn't go to the doctor or anything. And then the past couple of weeks, it got to the point where it's like, fuck, I can't even fucking walk. My leg hurts so bad. And so I finally told my husband, okay, I'm calling the doctor. And he's like, God, it's about time, Like, I'm sorry, I'm a chicken shit. I didn't want him to tell me I had arthritis and I needed to go on medication. So I finally told my doctor, though. I did tell him, I have a fear. I know it's not even the same medication anymore, but I do still have that fear. And he was like, that's understandable. And we'll talk about that. Let's figure out what's going on first. So I have
I
arthritis
understand
in
what
my
you mean now.
shoulders, in my hands, in my knees,
I,
So,
I I totally understand what you mean by being apprehensive about medications, and I mean this isn't. I'm not speaking to all medications, but generally speaking, when you're putting a foreign substance in your body, especially one that's made in a lab, um, while it may improve your overall quality of life, a lot of the time it does come with long-term consequences. Sometimes it's consequences that we won't know 20, 30, 40 years later until after the fact. And I totally
yeah.
understand what you mean by being apprehensive about it. Unrelated, but I have that same issue with depression medication. I for I have struggled with depression since I was a teenager. I'm also trans, and I think that living in the society that we do that doesn't treat trans people very kindly, I'm sure is a factor that goes into it. You know, I seasonally around the wintertime, my depression also intensifies. My father also his birthday, my father unalived, he also had depression and he unalived by his own hand. And I have a generation of my father, grandfather, and great grandfather, all three going back 3 generations of schmalcoholism and depression and self-unaliving intentionally. So there's likely a genetic component. I have clinical depression. This is all to say that I have tried literally more than 8 dozen antidepressants over the years, and the consequences of how they affect my physical and mental health are, for me, I would rather just not be on them and manage my depression on my own because it's not worth it for me. Now, for somebody else, if it works for them, that makes me happy. I support that. That's awesome. You do you. But, even if you have a
Right.
condition like, even if you have a condition like depression, especially if you have clinical depression, which is neurological and not necessarily curable, there's no cure or long-term treatment because let's hypothetically say that even if I was taking an antidepressant that did work, eventually my body would become used to it because I have the kind of depression that is resistant to that kind of medication. So for me,
Hmm.
it's just better not to be on antidepressants and to manage it through other means. But I
And
wouldn't
you
say
know
that
what?
for
I
everybody.
hear And I hear you saying something too that people, don't always do. You have tried it and you didn't try it once. You tried it several times, a dozen times or more. Okay. And when you find out that your body is SSRI or whatever it is, resistant, it becomes futile. That's the same way I feel like I am supposed to take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. Most of the time, it doesn't do anything for me, but ibuprofen has bad side effects for your stomach and for your kidneys and your liver and stuff. So I'm not going to keep taking it if it's not doing what it's supposed to do, but it is still harming me. And so it's not that you and I aren't trying the medication. You're obviously seeking, help from an expert if you're getting prescriptions, right? We are doing those things and it doesn't work for everybody. And we have to do what works for our health and for our mental health.
Absolutely. Um, and I think that unfortunately, especially I feel like because we live in a capitalistic society, which I'd like to reiterate to everybody who might be listening to this. In most cultures, now Mexico, that might be a little bit different, and that's probably because of our influence on them. But in most cultures all over the world, it is illegal to have advertisements for medications on television. That is illegal. You can't go to a YouTube ad that says you should try Ozempic today because that would be illegal in that country because they don't have a for-profit healthcare system. We have in our society, American society, and I don't know necessarily about Canada, but I do know about Mexico. They do this thing where they push medications on people and they say, well, you're not actually trying if you aren't trying medications. And like I said, I tried over 12 different kinds of antidepressants and none of them worked for me. And that doesn't even include with those 12 that I mentioned, that doesn't even include when the doctors will be like, well, what if you took Paxil and Prozac at the same time? Well, what if you took Lexapro and Cymbalta at the same time? And they tried mixing and matching and none of them worked for me. And
Yeah.
that's okay. That's because I am one
Yep.
of those
That
people
is
that are just
okay.
resistant to it. And, if I choose to not put substances in my body and I choose to treat depression through other means like meditation, therapy, eating a very clean, healthy diet, all that jazz, if I choose to go that way, that's my choice. And I shouldn't be
That's
condemned
right.
for, well,
No,
you're putting people with depression, you're telling them not to get medical advice. I didn't say that.
no, you're
I'm
not.
saying do what
No,
works for
you're not.
you. Do what works for
And
you.
here's the thing. You have sought medical advice, or you would have tried that many. Like, that's the whole thing. Here, I do think that there are people who need medication who haven't even gone and asked about it yet, and they should. Okay, but if you have worked with your doctors and things aren't working, that's between you and your doctors. The fuck, I'm just telling you. I could live with the arthritis. It was painful, but I was living with it. I'm getting to a point where I don't know if I can anymore. I told them about my hand recently. I was telling my daughter-in-law about this. She thought it was weird, but I think that the arthritis in my left hand has gotten to a point where it's just very hard for me to hold my phone. And she goes, "What do you mean hold your phone? You're right-handed." I'm like, "I know. So don't you hold your phone in your left hand so you could do things with it with your right hand?" Like, because that's what I do. Is that weird or something? Because she was very confused about that. Anyway, I hold it in my left hand, and it is getting hard for me to do that because of the arthritis. And so I realized, I kind of need to talk to him about that too. So we're getting the hand x-rayed too while we're there. But now I feel old because all I've done is talk to you guys about my ailments.
I was gonna say, I was like, I'm not judging. I'm not judging Crystal. That is different because maybe it's just me, but I use my thumb for everything, and I hold my phone in my right hand. And
okay, see, maybe she does that too or something, because I know that if you use a BlackBerry back in the day, a lot of people did that, right? Because you're sitting there just,
yeah,
I'm not. I hold it in my left and go.
I do want to say you touched on something earlier about ibuprofen. To anybody that's listening to this, do not, I repeat, do not take ibuprofen, Tylenol, Aleve. I don't know about aspirin. You might be able to actually get away with aspirin, but do not take any of that on an empty stomach. You need to eat at least a cracker,
Oh, no.
eat a piece of celery, eat something with it, because if you do not do that, it will fuck up your stomach lining, and that's how ulcers form. Please do not do that.
Yep, absolutely. We've got a guest to bring up truths.
Yes, you're saying God not that into
Hi,
you. What
Truth.
does that mean?
Can I get your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, over 18.
How old are you?
Yeah, I'm over 18.
Okay, if you can't answer a
All right, I'll give
simple
my age.
question, you can't be up here, okay? I don't know what is wrong with people, but I actually need you to say your age because TikTok's not going to believe you're over 18. They want to hear your age, okay? And they are recording this. That's why I ask it. If you're going to be that difficult over the first question, I don't feel like you're ready to actually have a conversation. We'll try again because I have more questions. So how old are you?
Yeah.
Okay, and are you a Christian or a believer of the God of the Bible?
Well, I'm a Muslim.
You're a Muslim. And what are your pronouns?
My pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yes,
only
he,
two
she,
genders.
they.
Do you not
Okay.
believe there's only two
All
genders?
right. I'm sorry. No, I don't. I believe you're a bigot. I believe you're a bigot, Pumpkin.
Even if you
and
did
all
believe that there were only two genders, you still would have to have selected he or she because those are the pronoun choices. So that doesn't even make any sense. Like, these people don't. Okay, for some people,
I know,
English
right?
isn't
Like
necessarily
what?
For some people, English isn't necessarily their first language. It might be their second or third. But in other languages, they have often multiple different gender choices that you can select from, aside from just he, she, or the neutral they. Um, and even if that wasn't even if let's say English was his second language, um, he still uses pronouns like I and my. We all use those kinds of
Of
pronouns in our
course.
everyday speech. So whenever they're like, I don't know what a pronoun is, I'm just like, you are intentionally choosing ignorance and you came up here to show your whole ass.
Yep. Yep. Also, why say you're a Muslim and then put a cross in your name? What are you talking about?
Oh, I
How
know
many
that
Muslims
game
have a cross in their name?
because a lot of these Muslims like to pretend like they are Christians, come up on panels, make Christians look bad, and then their agenda behind doing that is by making Christians look bad, they think that they're going to gain devotees to Allah. They think that they're going to convert people to the Muslim faith.
Oh, you don't get to talk about marrying children. You don't get to say that because, you Christians like to do that too. You're pushing for laws right now in states and asking us to lower the age of consent. Just stop. Y'all are into the kids too. More pastors get arrested daily for that than any other fucking genre there is, whatever you want to call it. Genre. That wasn't the right word, but I couldn't think of the word. Demographic is the word I was looking for.
And I feel like the media, when it comes to Catholics, I wouldn't say that. I feel like it's often sensationalized on purpose because we live in a majority Protestant society. But when it comes to Protestant pastors, I often feel like their sexual immorality, their scandals, their adultery, their pedophilia is intentionally swept under the rug and not talked about in the media because it goes against the evangelical agenda of trying to convert as many people as possible to control them. Because that's what this is really about. It's about Protestant domination. It's really disturbing and disgusting. But I mean, it happens with the Catholics, it happens with the EOs, it happens with every single branch of
Look at the
Christianity.
reason why also with the Catholics it's more on the news too is because they're unified, right? So when there is a lawsuit against the Catholic Church, it is across the board. It affects all Catholics, right? But if there is a Baptist Protestant pastor, it doesn't affect all Protestants the same. We're like, get them, because we're Methodists. We don't care, right? But the fact of the matter is that the male clergy are arrested like fucking if you scroll Reddit right now, there are so many pastor arrested, youth pastor arrested, pastor convicted. It's just page after
I see
page.
it literally every single day, especially on Facebook. And I see it from all over the country, all over North America, all the time. And most of the time, it's actually Protestants that are doing it. It's not Catholics. Not to say it doesn't happen in the Catholic Church, because I know it does. And I even know people IRL who have been touched by the Catholic clergy, which I think is very disturbing. But I agree. And I have to almost reiterate that part of the reason I feel like it is sensationalized with the Catholic Church is because we live in a majority Protestant society, and the Protestants are like, yeah, F those Catholics, because that's the mentality. They don't like the Catholics.
Right. Well, the Catholics are doing it a lot. I mean, we do know that from the lawsuits. Like in LA, there was a multi-million-dollar lawsuit settled because of the diocese hiding the offending priests throughout the where they move them around and shit. And when they lost the lawsuit and were forced to pay out the millions upon millions of dollars in Los Angeles County, they took the funds to pay off that lawsuit from a Catholic charity that fed the homeless, because fuck the homeless, right? Let's go pay off our fucking, even though we have billions of dollars, billions of fucking dollars. Hey, Ashra, how are you?
Hi, Ashra.
Hi, Robin. Hi, Crystal. I'm working, so I was just gonna jump up and tell you guys something that I thought was really funny. If anybody saw Robot Goat last night, they had a whole entire conversation arguing with a guest about their pronouns when they wouldn't use pronouns. They were like, I don't use pronouns, and the whole conversation. What?
I is a pronoun.
Right.
Me, my, and I are pronouns.
So the whole conversation.
I think that's what Ash was going to show.
Well, Robot Go, it was so they've got so much talent. They never used any pronouns while they were talking to this person, and it was so funny. I don't know if it's been clipped, but I was like, please, I hope somebody clipped that because it was hilarious. They did really, really good job.
Oh my God. I'm gonna
That's
message them
awesome.
and make sure they clip it. Robot Goat, you guys, is going to be my guest on Decon Q&A with Crystal J on Sunday. So make sure you guys join me Sunday and come up and ask questions. You guys sit down there and are so quiet. You got to come up and make them feel good so they'll come back on the show. Come up, ask them questions, have them tell you jokes, whatever. Ashra, thanks for coming up. Don't work too hard. Hope we didn't get you in trouble at work. Robot Goat and Rat Soup. They'll both be here. So make sure you guys join me Sunday for that. So is anybody going to be mad at me if I quit 20 minutes early today? Because I'm in so much pain. I want to go put ice on my knee and take some meds and put some aspirin cream on my leg or whatever it's called. You're going to be mad at me, Tahir?
I'm pretty sure it is called aspartame, and if it's not, somebody needs to correct us, because that's what I've been calling it for a long time now.
There is an aspirin cream, but that's actually not what I'm going to put on my leg. I have a prescription one that has, some kind of medicine in it that's supposed to help. Whatever, we'll see. It's some kind of NSAID that's supposed to help with the inflammation. It hasn't really done it yet, but I'm going to keep trying. I really think that I need some cortisone shots or something. They're also having me go to physical therapy, which is fine. I don't mind that, but I'm not going to be able to do much. I hope they know that. Like, I really can barely walk right now with this leg. So I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. I'm going to go eat lunch right now, though. I'm going to put some ice on it, take a little ibuprofen. I will finish the sermon and we can listen to it tomorrow. It's about Lot's daughters and it's very traumatic. It's a very traumatic story. And it's what, I always think that when I finish a sermon, I'm like, oh, wow, this one really, taught me something or whatever. And then I find another one and I'm like, oh my God. And like I said, this one was kind of shocking because I found out about Jesus and how he's one of the descendants. But also it just made me feel for them because they're just girls. They're just kids. And nobody ever treats them like that when they tell their story. You know that? And that makes me kind of sad.
That's really sad.
Anyway, you guys.
Something I did want to say before you go. Oh, I was going to tell you that a news story that I've been seeing quite often, because we were talking about the Catholic Church, is his name is Bishop Emmanuel Sheltia, Shaleta, of the Chaldean Catholic Eparchy, Eparchy of St. Peter the Apostle in San Diego. Yeah, so he's going to be going to prison because he was money laundering. He was taking money that the church was making and then going to brothels in Mexico. So this is where your church dollars are being spent.
Yeah.
And he's got multiple counts, and he's going to be doing a lot of time for money laundering and embezzlement. Oh, let's say 8 counts of embezzlement, 8 counts of money laundering, and 1 count for the so-called aggravated white-collar crime, whatever that means, and under California law. I don't know anything about California law, but yeah, he's going to be doing some hard time for the things that he did, and this is something that happens all the time in the Catholic Church. They just like to cover it up and move people.
When you say, Robin, you will know them by their fruits, that counts for you too. And you know what we all think of you? It's not very highly. We don't think very highly of you because we know you by your fruits too, sir. Anyway, you guys, I will see you tomorrow right here for non-believers Bible study. And then we'll do a sermon and we'll do a little conversations with Christians. I don't know who's live right now. Go raid somebody. Tell them Crystal loves them. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you around the mean streets of TikTok and YouTube. Bye, everybody. Robin, thank you. I love you. Have a good day.